Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Hopefully I don't have Cheeto dust in my teeth. I did commandeer parent tax my daughter's Cheeto stash. We're gonna be talking about fall and winter knitting plans that I have in an ideal world where money and time are no object. But let's just hop right into it. Our first category is accessories and miscellaneous wearables. This is mostly a section for my kids. So first on my list is the bear bonnet. I love this little bonnet. I think it's so cute. In fact, I wanted to knit it when I had my daughter last year, but I ended up going with the chunky August balaclava, which was still really fun, but it already does not fit her, which sucks because that thing did take me a minute. I'm thinking the bear bonnet. It's versatile. It can grow with her at least maybe one more season, depending on how big I make it. And I love that I can tie it onto her. For whatever reason, with the chunky August balaclava, she acted like I was trying to drown her every time I put it on. A different balaclava pattern that I've actually had in my pattern stash for probably 2 years, but I've just been up until this year really not confident enough to make it, is the fluffy winter balaclava. It's so cute. I love that it has like a longer neck so that I can tuck it into my kids' coats. I might just make it for my oldest daughter. She's the one who really enjoys the balaclavas the most and gets the most wear out of them. My second oldest, she's a beanie girl, and my son, he doesn't give a damn. So for myself and my girls, I'm thinking about making the Lucky Stars beanie. It is a double knit colorwork beanie. And I want to say it's like a sport weight. Maybe it's worsted. I actually need to, or maybe it's DK. I don't know. But I have loved seeing other people's version of this. It's just a 2-color pattern. I don't know what colors I would use for myself, but my girls love pink and blue, so maybe I would do that for them. I've actually already knit this next pattern before. It is the Selma sleepsuit by petiteknit. I love this sleepsuit so much. We actually got a lot of wear out of it this like late winter, early spring for my baby. I did knit it initially in a superwash yarn that grew so much in the washing and blocking process. In my defense, I didn't swatch, which is not really a good defense, but then 2, I didn't know and I'd never heard about how much garter stitch could grow in a finished object, so I know this time. She is a little bit taller, so it might work in my favor. I won't be doing a stripe, I can tell you that much. I had so many freaking ends to weave in, it got to be ridiculous. Another wearable item, and this is just for my baby, is the Joe baby pants or Joe's baby pants. So cute. I love it. It has a little elastic waist. I've actually gone back and forth between doing the elastic band at the waist and a I-cord tie for the waist. Maybe we'll have to see what I do for that. And then last in the section of miscellaneous accessories and wearables is socks, or our socks. Is socks or our socks? Literally forget English every time I sit down to record. I've never knit a pair of socks ever. I've actually never even finished a sock. I've attempted it. That was like the first thing I ever tried to knit, and it was not good. So I've come across the banana sock pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And what's so great about it, especially for kids, is that it's meant to grow with their feet. There's no heel. It's super low risk. You don't need to worry about knitting and finishing the sock just to realize that you did the heel or the bottom of the foot way too long in contrast to like the ankle. I don't know. I don't really know how socks work. Moving on to sweaters and cardigans for myself. I have the Froya sweater. I think I came across this one earlier this year, or maybe it was like in the spring of this year. And it was right after I finished my Edna sweater. And it was the first time I'd ever worked with cables. And before working a sweater with cables, I really didn't like the way that they looked. I felt like they gave grandma, grandpa. And they do, and it's like charming. But before that, I really hadn't found a pattern I super loved. And then I knit the Edna as a test knit, and I absolutely freaking loved it. And so coming across the Froya, I've really, really been excited to knit that. I don't know if I'll do that this year or not, but in an ideal world where time and money were no object, I would knit this. Next on my list of sweaters and cardigans for myself is the Darling Wrap by Knitting for Olive. I came across, I think it's Earth to Jude. She knit it in like a really deep, warm wine color, and it looked so cute on her. It reminded me how versatile some knits can be for both nursing and pregnancy, and I think this is one of them, especially for nursing. It's so cute. I love the rib detail on it. In tandem with this wrap, it also reminded me of how badly I want to knit the Levitate wrap. I was intimidated before for working on my Hani cardigan. Now that I've knit a double knit band multiple times, I'm very excited, and I think that it would be such a sweet project, and I don't think I want to use the recommended yarn. They don't have the best color options, and something that I'm trying to be really intentional with this fall and winter when it comes to my personal knits is using more color. I'm not drawn to color. I think I just worry about wearability, and I need to stop worrying about that and just know that if I love the sweater, I will get wear out of it. Next on my list is a little bit more of a basic pattern, if you will, but still a classic, and something that I've been really excited about is the Winter's Pullover by Ozetta. I've seen it in a lot of really pretty neutral colors, cobalt blue, a bright orangey red, and I think what I'm most drawn to about this pattern is the neck. I've never really loved a long turtleneck, and where this one is kind of comically long, I thought I would hate it, but I've seen it styled on a couple of different creators and I'm obsessed with it, and I definitely want it. Whether I'll knit it in a color or a neutral, we'll see. This next pattern I've actually already bought yarn for. Maggie and Fabi are doing a cal of different color work sweaters and cardigans, and Maggie had brought up the sand sweater a couple weeks ago. I looked up the pattern and I instantly loved it. I've never really knit a full-blown all over color work sweater, so I'm kind of nervous, and this is also the most that I have ever spent on yarn, and I'm very nervous that due to like the difficulty, I could potentially hate it and not want to finish it and then have to figure out what to do with the yarn. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers. And if you have any tips for knitting color work, mostly just color changes, dominant color, and reading the charts. Like if you have any tips, send them my way. Like I said, I ordered the yarn. I'll put a screenshot of my order. It's gonna get here on Monday. Today's Thursday, and I'm so freaking excited. It's the most I've ever spent on yarn. One that I actually just came across in the last few days is this sweater number 33. This is one that I think would be so great for if you are pregnant in the early fall and winter and your bump's not quite showing, but you kind of want to like dress it. This sweater is so cute. It looks like it has a split hem and lots of ribbing detail. I want to knit this one in a color, and I'm thinking of like a dusty pink, dusty purple. We'll see what I end up doing. It could be a neutral if I get really stressed out about it, which seems to be the theme. Also on my list of sweaters and cardigans for myself is the Hannah sweater by petiteknit. I'm not a huge V-neck person. In fact, the thought of trying to fit my own personal body with a V-neck, if you have a larger chest, you understand what I'm saying when sometimes it can make you look really wide, and V-necks usually, if not consistently, have done that to me. And so what I love about the Hannah sweater is the V-neck detail is ribbed. It's a really long rib section, and it doesn't go like really deep. It's more like right next to your collarbone. So I think that it has the potential to look really pretty, and I'm hoping that it has a lot of positive ease and is a little bit more drapey. A pattern that I've really seen pop off lately is the Mandy sweater. I've seen a lot of people use plant-based fibers, which I think looks really great, and the drape on the garment looks phenomenal. But I personally really want to do a Knitting for Olive heavy merino with it, or whatever the recommended weight yarn is for it, but in a KFO or similar wool. I don't feel like I've mentioned it a ton, but I really love Knitting for Olive's heavy merino. It is the least rustic yarn I've used that is 100% wool. And I'm someone who actually tends to be a little bit more sensitive, at least on my neck. And if I don't have like a shirt or something underneath as a barrier, I won't really wear it. But this has already proven to be a lot softer, and I imagine it only will get softer with time. And then last on my sweaters and cardigans that I would knit for myself in an ideal world where time and money were no object is the Ella tee. I believe there is a long sleeve version, or you can make it long sleeve, and I really love the idea of making this in a long sleeve. I believe it's a negative ease garment, and a lot of the negative ease comes in the lower half of the body where it switches from regular stockinette to a rib. I think that the original pattern shows it stripy, and I think that I'm going to stay true to the pattern and do a stripy version of this as well. What I like is that it could be a base piece and not make you too hot if you're inside or near a fire, and could be a good fall and spring transition piece into summer. Moving on to kids / gift knits. As you probably know, I've kind of abstained from too many gift knits and accepting too many requests. I have a little bit of a list going right now, but I'm planning on working through those steadily and having little side kid projects as gifting objects for friends who are due soon or have kids already. And my main focus is doing a lot of scrappy sweaters / stash busting sweaters. And I say this because my yarn collection's a little bit too vast for me right now. I don't want to just sit and hold on to it in hopes that like something will come up where I just have the yarn for it. I need to start using it now or I never will, or a moth will eat it. But my kids really have been begging for some like scrappy vests. And so I've been looking at the Holiday Slipover Junior by Petiteknit. My goal is to make a couple chunky ones and a couple lighter weight ones so that they can wear them in winter or spring and fall. And then I also, and let me know what your thoughts are, or maybe like a good way to organize this. I feel like I've talked a few times about how the barrier for entry with knitting can be pretty steep as far as cost goes, and if I can in any way help to alleviate that and allow someone to find their way into the knitting space, I would love to. So my thought is going through my yarn and kind of organizing my fibers and setting up little scrap busting kits for you to knit your own child size objects. Or if you don't have children and you want to do something like a little scarf or a bandana, I'm pretty sure I could find a way to combine my scraps to make it a fun little stripey thing. If you're interested in that, or if you know of a way for me to kind of facilitate that, let me know. It would be no cost for the yarn for you guys, just shipping. Shipping's like expensive right now, and I don't know why, but I am more than happy to send you guys some of my stash so that I can make room to buy new stuff. I feel like I just spat that out as fast as I possibly could, but if only you knew that the first like 3 times I recorded this, it was over 40 minutes each time. I want to know what you guys are planning to knit. I hate asking it, but I also love asking it because you guys always remind me of patterns and introduce me to patterns, and my to be knit list just grows and grows. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's like having a bunch of books. You'll read them someday, right? Anyways, bye guys.